Okay. I thought, like anyone else thinks who isn't educated, that the less you eat, the better. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I am Amelia and thank you for joining. I've been putting off this video for so long. So today's video is all about my fitness journey, and it's been a roller coaster. Before we get into this video, I just want to make a trigger warning. If you are suffering with an eating disorder, or if talking about calories or anything like that triggers you, then please don't watch this video. I have loads of other videos on my channel, so feel free to watch those. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there before we start. I also want to say I've never been diagnosed with an eating disorder or anything like that, but in the past I haven't had a healthy relationship with food, and I will be touching on all of that. So I'm filming this video because so many people want to hear about my fitness journey, and I guess I owe you that as well. I owe you my little background story of how I started. I'm very much into fitness now. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I have a fitness Instagram and I have my normal Instagram, and both of them cover a lot of fitness because like it is really part of my life. I do love it so much. This video is all about how I've come to the point that I'm in now, which is a very good optimal point. So where do I start? God, fitness really is part of my life, and it always has been. I've always been into fitness. I've always been active. Literally ever since I was 3 years old, I was dancing way up until I went to uni, so 21. Every Friday, my friend and I would always have like Friday feasts. Like we would literally get so much good like treats and food and chocolate and crisps and everything, and we would just like, we'd have like 2 hours between like our first class and our second class in the evening. So we would just like binge on all this like amazing food, and it was great. And then I think it hit like year 10, which is when you kind of just, I don't know, you're more aware of body image and like people around you, and you're comparing yourself more against your friends and like people that you see on Instagram and Tumblr, because like Tumblr was all about then as well. I'd always see like Victoria's Secret models and like YouTubers with like really slim physiques and abs, and also during that time I would be more aware about my classmates and my dance, like people were in leotards all the time, so like I was a lot more aware of like my body and how I looked in a leotard and tights. And I think it didn't, I don't know if it happened overnight, like I started to compare my body to others, or if it was just like a very gradual thing. I really can't remember, but I did start comparing myself, like everyone does. Everyone compares themselves, unfortunately. And I remember I got comments from my dance teacher about me eating too much dinner before a class or something. You should always comment on my bloat, and like this wouldn't just be directed to me. She'd make those comments to quite a few other girls in my class, and it's just what she said. We just kind of habitualized to it, but those comments did get to me. And so I just started to just be a bit more mindful about what I was eating. I was not in any way large at all in year 10. I've always been a slim physique, but an innocent behaviour of just like being a bit more mindful of what I was eating. Very slow, became more and more obsessive, and I started to really look into what I was eating. And then I started tracking my foods, again very innocently. I was just learning a lot more about that whole idea of food, because I had no idea about what I was eating really. You know, you'd just go back home, you'd have like whatever your parents had cooked you, whatever lunch you have in the canteen at school. I was never ever thinking about food in that way until these comments like got to me. Yeah, I started tracking, I started watching what I eat in a day on YouTube. Yeah, and then it just got worse and worse. At lunch in like year 10 and 11, I remember I'd just have like a muffin and then like a coffee, or I would just have a cookie from the canteen. I remember getting Graze boxes. I don't know if any of you know about that, but they're subscription boxes that are filled with 4 little packets of snacks. They're meant to be snacks, so for, like for grazing. And I remember I just took 2 of those, even maybe 1 of those for lunch. I'll just have that. And it just was not healthy at all. And at that time, I was also doing dance all the time still. Like I was doing dance every day. And I just was not realising the stress that I was putting on my body from not only all this exercise, but from underfeeding my body so much. I was so naive back then. I thought, like anyone else thinks who isn't educated, that the less you eat, the better. And especially during those teenage years, I think there's so much social pressure around you that it is so common for teenagers to think that and to put themselves through that. I'm not saying that this happens to everyone, obviously it doesn't, but it is very, very common, and teenagers are very at risk of thinking that way. And it's so sad. I'm so embarrassed to be saying this, because a muffin for lunch and like restricting myself in that way is just so humiliating. I was just so naive. I was just so naive. And yeah, I would start counting calories and what I was putting in my body. And I remember during this time, my dance school has dance shows, and I remember them like always taking measurements, because obviously they needed like the measurements for the costumes. And I would just compare my measurements to others in my class, and I had never taken my measurements before. I didn't know like what I measured, obviously. Dance teachers would measure me in the class in front of everyone else, and I was just so scared about it. I was thinking in my head, why are my measurements bigger than my classmates? So again, that spiraled into worsening what was initially an innocent behaviour of just being a bit more mindful about my food to a lot worse. And I would just reduce what I was eating. I started to be more mindful about not only my lunches but also my breakfast as well. And for breakfast I'd have a pack of Belvita biscuits, and that was it. Thinking that's what I had then to what I have now is actually crazy. That's just not me. That's just not, I just don't recognise that person. But the saddest thing is that I know that some people around me were kind of similar. That made me think that it was normal. So then it got to like year 12, still going through this. And then I think I remember like the body coach coming around, and obviously the body coach is all about like HIIT workouts and stuff. So I started to do a lot of his workouts on YouTube. Bearing in mind I was still dancing, the amount of cardio that I was doing was ridiculous. I was damaging my body in so many ways. My aim was really just to get abs, and everyone has abs. Again, I didn't know this, but everyone has abs. It just depends on your genetics, which really determines your body fat percentage and determines the point at which your body will show abs. And for me, I thought that to get abs I needed to reduce how much I ate, do loads of cardio and do lots of ab workouts. So I began doing ab workouts. I began pretty much doing them every day. And I remember I lost my period, I don't know, I can't remember at what age, but I lost my period, and that still wasn't a sign to tell me that I needed to cut the crap and stop being an idiot. And also I became such a moody teenager as well, and I didn't know that the main reason behind that was because I was just depriving myself of food. It was affecting my mood and my relationships, and I had no idea. I had no idea at the time. I just thought that I was very hormonal. So yeah, I hated the person who I was back then. Really didn't like her. I mean, this video is all over the place. I really just don't know where I'm going with this. After training my abs every single day, after doing ab exercise every single day, doing all this cardio, undernourishing myself, I basically got this thing called diastasis recti, I think that's how you say it, which is basically where your abs protrude out, and that's just from a result of too much stress on the abs and undernourishing yourself. And yeah, my abs were sticking out, and I was like, don't like the look of this. So I thought I needed to reduce how much I was eating again and continue doing my ab exercises. And quite frankly, I was just making my situation worse and worse and worse for myself. I will insert a picture somewhere here of what I used to look like then. I mean, I did upload a progress picture the other day, and you could just see such a big difference from then versus now, but all a journey. I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't go through that before. Anyway, come 2017, this was when I finished school on my gap year, and I went traveling by myself, and I became a lot more free actually. Obviously I couldn't track what I was eating because I was out all the time, I was drinking all the time, but at the same time I was very, very, very active. I was like doing hikes all the time and like walking everywhere like you do when you're traveling. Although I was feeding myself a bit better, I wasn't nourishing my body because, you know, I was drinking all the time and I would hardly be eating any veg and protein and anything like that. So my body was still undernourished, and I remember I was on the pill at this point, so I thought that I regained my period and it was fine, but that's not the case. And I don't know why they do that when you say you've lost your period. They literally just put you on the pill, and I just think that is so irresponsible of them to do that. When you're on the pill and you get bleeding, it is not your period, people. It is not your period, and I hope that you all know that. Me, I didn't know that. So I thought I was fine again, I thought it was all good, but I came off the pill again during travelling and my period didn't come. So I thought, great, we're back to square one again. But during that whole time I was on the pill, it was just masking the fact that I wasn't having my period. And that's why it's so dangerous to go on the pill when you have lost your period. But my saviour, my absolute saviour, my friend who I met in Australia, she lives in Australia, well, two of my friends actually, they introduced me to weight training. And like I've said, I was always just a cardio queen, really. So this was very, very new to me. And during this time, it wasn't as popular as it is now. So yeah, I started doing some weightlifting when I was in Australia with them for a couple of weeks. And yeah, I really fell in love with it. I felt strong, I felt good. I was like, this is fun. I'm liking this. I'm not like pushing myself through cardio all the time, which I actually hated. So I've always said I didn't change during traveling, but looking back on it now, I did. Like, that served me so well. I came back, I felt great in myself, like I felt refreshed. I got a gym membership and I started doing a bit more weightlifting. Still then, I was a bit naive about weightlifting. From what I know now, my form wasn't right, the structures of my workouts wouldn't be okay, and again, I was still adding cardio on the ends of my weightlifting workouts, which I would just not recommend at all. But cardio queen, she still does her cardio, so that's what I did. But it was an improvement. I started to see food as fuel, and I started to realise that if I want to gain a bit of muscle, then I need to fuel that muscle and feed my body. So I started to increase the amount of I was eating to complement my workout. And then I went to uni, continued weightlifting. I started to educate myself more. I started watching YouTube videos on it. I really was getting like interested in it. But again, I wasn't like progressing in my lift. I wasn't pushing myself. So I did still gain muscle then. I did still, you know, kind of go through this recomp of my body, but that's just called newbie gains. It's like a shock to the system, and it responded really well. But it hit a plateau and my muscles just stopped growing because I didn't realise that I needed to continue upping my weights, feeding my body more. So I hit a plateau for a good year, I think. And then it got to the second year of uni, and this was when I was contacted by Bulk Powders and they wanted to work with me. And I was so, like, this was the first big brand that I'd worked with. It was one of my dreams that had come true, and it kind of reignited my goals and like why I started weightlifting. And it was just like what I needed then, because I was so stuck. I started looking into supplements and looking into foods and products that would benefit me. I was literally loving it. So I was working with bulk powders for about a year. I went to shoots and things, and again, like, sometimes I was still restricting myself, and I didn't know this at the time, but I was still underfeeding myself. Like, deep down, I was still stopping myself from eating certain foods, mainly because it was just so deeply ingrained in me. You know, your brain is like still developing at that age. So when you've gone through like what I went through during my teens, it's literally molded your beliefs, really. So you really have to untrain those. So yeah, I still wasn't 100% then, but I was better. And that's when I started looking into macros as well, and like what different macros meant. So I started counting my macros. I wasn't like completely religious on it, but the fact that I was still counting macros, to be honest, is not healthy. But I was learning about it, and I needed to count macros to learn about it. So that's what I did. But yeah, I was still just so unaware of how much my body really needed. Like, I have such a fast metabolism. Even though I thought I was fueling my body properly, I really wasn't. Like, I really wasn't. My body has such a fast metabolism, and I now know that I need to eat double the amount I was eating then, if not more. Yeah, if I were to be eating double of what I was eating then I would be going against society's like rules, really, of like the average intake of a woman. Just stuff like that I would always think about, and I'd always be like, well, I can't be eating more than what my brother eats because he's a man and he's taller than me, so like I shouldn't be eating more than him, or you know, I was thinking things like that. And it's true, but to a very, very certain extent. It's just guidelines, and I saw those guidelines as strict rules, really. Honestly, this video is so all over the place. I really do apologise. I just find it hard to talk about because like I haven't spoken to anyone about this. I'm just like embarrassed about it, but people wanted to hear, and I think it would help a lot of people as well, so that's why I'm sharing it. Anyway, I was still second year of uni and I thought I was fueling myself. I thought I wasn't restricting myself. And I really do want to make that clear, actually. Like, my intentions weren't to restrict myself at all. Like, I really, really was wanting to fuel myself. But, like I said, my body needs a lot more than what I was feeding it. Anyway, this point was also when I made my fitness account. So I made my fitness account to share my tips and to share, like, my love for fitness, really. And sharing workouts, I was sharing recipes, like people getting back to me and saying like how great it was, and like it really gave me a new lease of confidence as well, which is really what I needed. And I was in a really good position at this point, actually. I was really, really happy. Then it got to the final year of uni and I think I just realised that I really, really wanted to gain muscle and gain a bit of weight. And I was looking at like pictures of myself and I was like always complaining about how skinny my arms looked, or like how lanky I looked, or I wanted just to look a bit more fuller. So again, I upped my intake even more, past the point of what I thought I would be able to. So I was a bit out of my comfort zone, but I was eating more and more and more, eating more than I had done ever before, and I was lifting heavier, so I was making a bit more progress. And I continued this during lockdown, but I kind of hit a plateau. I felt like I couldn't eat anymore. One reason being because it was going against society's rules of how much a woman really can eat. Like I was scared, to be honest. And also I was scared, to be honest, to lose my abs. I thought that bulk powders contacted me because I had abs, or people started following me on my fitness account because of my abs. Like I thought my abs had defined me and defined my worth. I don't know, I just thought that if my abs disappeared, then I wouldn't be #Fitspo, or I wouldn't look like I'm into fitness. I think it's because I got so many comments on my abs, and like everyone was messaging me on my fitness account and saying, how do you get abs? It would give me confidence, but again, it was just doing more damage to me because it was like confirming the fact that people really were just interested in me because of my abs. And obviously that's not true, but there was a part of me that thought that. Anyway, I did get past that a bit and I did up my intake a bit more, and to be honest, my body thrived on it, and it actually lost weight from eating lots more and reducing the amount of cardio I was doing, like by so much. And I didn't fully see it until, bless her, my best friend, she messaged me and she was like, are you okay? Like, you lost a lot of weight, what's going on? And I was like, a bit thrown back by it. I was like, what? I am trying to gain weight here. Like, this is the opposite of what I want. So in my eyes, that wasn't good. I didn't want to lose weight. I didn't want to look skinnier. So I increased my calories again, and I kept on increasing. And again, I hit another plateau because at this point I was eating way more than my family were eating around me. When that happens, it's just a bit intimidating, and it's purely because of like what society have taught us, and I freaking hate that. I hate it so much. Like, I'm here to just re-educate people's beliefs behind everything that we have been taught in society and in the media. Like, so I was eating more than people around me, I was being less active, I was basically going against everything that I believed in during my teenage years. So then for me to really progress and really get to where I want to be, I just thought I have to have someone with me to really push me. It was just that reassurance that I needed. So I invested in a coach, and I'm with her now, and oh my god, the best decision I've ever made in my life. Literally, she is such a babe. She is so helpful, and I'm 5 weeks into my weight gain journey. 5 weeks of proper weight gain, bulk, whatever you want to call it, and I can just say I'm so content right now. I am gaining weight. Like I said, I did a progress picture the other day, and putting two photos side by side really makes it a lot easier to see how much progress you've made. And that was just in 4 weeks as well. So I'm so excited of where I'm going to be next year. And I can honestly say where I am now is the best place I've ever been in. I feel like fully content. I feel like I am so much more educated. I am so much less worried about food and calories and macros and exercise, and you know, like I'm doing it because I really love it. Like I'm even doing a PT course. I want it to be my career. Like I really do love it. It makes me happy, it de-stresses me, it reminds me of how strong I am and like what I am good at. It's just so amazing, and I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry, but I can honestly say that the journey that I've been on has been a long one, and it's been a roller coaster, but I'm so happy where I am now. Like the past year, I would say I've been very content, very happy, very like where I needed to be this whole time. But at the same time, I don't think I would be where I am now if I hadn't gone through that before. And I just want to make it clear that restricting yourself and seeing foods as good or bad, or like thinking exercise is the answer to everything, is not at all. I'm in a body right now that I have wanted for so long. Like, it's crazy for me to say this out loud. If I were to say that four years ago or something, one, I'd get shit from people because they're like, wow, you're so full of yourself or something. And two, I would just never imagine myself loving my body. And yeah, I don't know why I'm crying, but I just really want to make this clear that if there is anyone out there who's watching this and they think that restricting themselves is the answer, please just don't do it. You can lose weight without restricting yourself. You can lose weight without pushing your body through so much exercise. You can lose weight and eat pizza and bad food. Like, you only have one body and you only have one life, so please just be sensible and educate yourself. And like I said, I am doing a PT course, so I cannot wait to be qualified and like teach people who may have gone through what I've gone through, like the proper way, like the proper way to live and be able to enjoy fitness and enjoy food as well as enjoying life. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. So yeah, that is my fitness journey. If you want to continue following my fitness journey, then hit that subscribe button, like this video, and follow me on Instagram as well. Hope this video wasn't too serious. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.